Hey, Major Mama! Hey, Major Papa!
But he won't bleed me.
We just want to borrow one of your boys for a couple hours and take him downtown to make us look good.
When did you people start getting so interested in black folks?
How many men were in the ambush?
You offered pretty good news to me slapping up on some white cops.
I want them, do you hear? And I want them now.
Now you gonna hibernate like that old bear.
You got some fat back.
Where's Sweetback?
I'm looking for myself.
No, I haven't, Jim.
Never heard of him. What else do he go by?
Come on and cook with me. Yeah, yeah.
Bingo, we got him!
Is this Sweetback's body?
Run, Sweetback!
They told me to pick up Sweetback. You Sweetback, ain't you?
You saved a planet that they were planning to pick in the bud. That's why the man's down on you.
Melvin Van Peebles with us. How you doing?
Hi, you doing, man?
Nice to have you with us. You're here in Detroit for your new film, right?
That's right.
Which is called Sweetback, Badass Song.
Yeah, that's
Tell us a little
right.
bit about the film.
Well, it's a film about a brother who changes from an exploiter of the black community. He's a stud, a pimp, into a brother who wants to aid the community or wants to stand up on his own hind legs, which of course is against the man's idea he's cut out for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's got to run, and it's the story of his fight for survival.
Now, you not only wrote the film, but produced and directed and did the movie soundtrack to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
The film is rated X.
It's rated X by an all-white jury. That is, under the present setup, if you don't submit the film to the Motion Picture Board Association, you
That's
have to
the
take-
MPAA.
That's the MPAA. You have to take what is called a self-imposed X. Jack Valenti, the president of MPAA, the Motion Picture Association, claims that you don't have to take a self-imposed X, but all of the papers refuse to run an ad unless it has a rating from the Motion Picture Association on it.
Are there any black people on that board?
No, the jury's all white. That's why in my ad I had written rated X by an all-white jury. However, some of the papers here refuse to run that. Once again, under the guise of some sort of general policy, they wouldn't run the real honest truth concerning that X. Also, the white establishment papers would not run the full title of the film.
How about the underground press, the underground media?
It's together.
Yeah,
it's
are they going to carry the ads far?
Yeah, they're going to carry the ads as they're actually written. The title of the film is Sweetback's Badass Song.
What's a sweetback?
Well, a sweetback man is a stud or a pimp who's somebody who balls the chick well. And if you do it correctly, I'm sure you know, you use your back.
Yeah.
And so
Subsequently, Sweet Sweetback.
you got a sweet back.
The film's going to be opening up at Grand Circus Theater in Detroit.
Yeah, it opened there at the 31st.
And we'll be showing for what, about 2 weeks?
Oh, I hope it'll be showing a lot longer than that.
You had some connection with the film that recently went around, Watermelon Man.
I directed Watermelon Man, and I composed the score.
Godfrey Cambridge was in that film. In case you didn't see it, it was a film very briefly about a white man who was portrayed by Godfrey Cambridge, who in the beginning of the film is white through an excellent makeup job. And then later on, how does that transaction happen?
He gets up one night to take a crap, and he discovers that he's turned black. Just that simple.
Turned black, and that's the dialogue of the film. I've heard white and black call that blackface in reverse.
Probably so. Originally, the script called for, well, not the script, but the producers called for a white actor to play the role in blackface, and I nixed that, and
that would have been blackface, obviously.
That would have been blackface, and I wanted to play in whiteface. I thought that'd be a nice turn of the tables, personally.
Yes, it would. People might be familiar, if they're not moviegoers, with your records on A&M. You had 2 albums. One was called Burst Soul, which was a great tune off of that cult, which maybe a lot of people are familiar with. Lily Do to Jam Poogie.
Yeah, every time
I pull in her coattail. That was a great tune.
Right.
Tell us about that. That fascinates me. The word Zampoogie.
Zampoogie?
Zampoogie.
Well, I made Zampoogie up as a word, and it was very, I wanted a word that sounded African and sounded together and so forth. And I didn't know if I'd been successful until I heard 2 people arguing what the Zampoogie was. One guy said, "No, it's a river in Africa." And
I thought it was a dance, or was supposed to be.
Well, it's supposed to be a dance, yes. But this is people who didn't know the song. You see, Lily, the genesis of Lily is a chick I bought in the Gramercy Park Hotel. And,
did you get any? I first heard the song in Boston almost 2 years ago, and I heard it on the radio one night, and it just flipped me out. I was just listening. What is that? Because that's the nature of that song. Did you have much problem with getting that airplay?
It's the same syndrome as my fight with the MPAA.
What is going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good. Welcome to the show. I'm One Frog 9. It's Thursday, the 14th day of October 2021. We're here on East Cherokee and Yuchi territory here in the Appalachian Mountains. And yeah, we're live right now. We're artists. We're here celebrating the day. Melvin Van Peebles, who did pass back in September. But before we get to all of that for the rest of the show, just want to encourage you guys to, check out this abolitionist thing that I'm trying to really push onto you guys. It's a petition, it's community organizing, it's a whole suite of things that you can plug yourself into, starting with this thing right here, the texting in the exception to 52886. That is pretty easy to do. And as always, if petitions aren't quite your thing, you can check out these other organizations. Abolitionist organizations, folks on the inside, folks on the outside, folks at a national level, abolitionist historians, and other folks that are trying to really dive deep into community organizing. I'm talking food security, neighborhood security, youth programs, and math and science. It's a lot to take on, but if it's something that speaks to you, check these things out. If you want to learn more about it, check them out. All the links are right there. As always, I'm trying to build up an ocean of abolitionists to come through and put that whole prison industrial complex in the ground so that we can figure out what the fuck we're doing after abolition. What is the life of a human being in a world without slavery? Let's figure it out, all right? Right here, right now. That's what we're doing. But today we're also, like I said, looking at Melvin Van Peebles, an artist, a filmmaker. I am joined right now by my good friend, Pirate Queen Endigo Kat. And the music is on. That's not nice. There was some music in there. What's going on, Pirate Queen? How you doing?
Music?
Yeah, the frog sounds.
Oh, hey everybody!
It's
Been a while. Good to see you.
So, how's your week been?
Well, my mom's birthday was October 12th.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday up in old Roon, my mama.
Helen
Ruth Watson.
Og.
That little Viking.
You think that's a Norse?
Well, yeah, my sister traced it to northern Ireland, to the tip, the Hebrides, the Outer Hebrides, where the Vikings used to visit quite regularly. So that's what I think. I don't know. I ain't no geneticist. Anyway.
We also opened the show up today with the trailer of Sweetback's Badass Song, which is a really, really interesting movie. Again, that was directed and created by Melvin Van Peebles. Who is just
rest in power.
Who's quite the Renaissance man, if you will.
His whole family, Mario and Max. When I worked on Posse, it was just an opportunity to just meet people like I'd never met before. A family that they were not talking about Melvin, but the rest of them were pretty gender fluid and partner fluid, and everybody, he had his ex-wives and his current partners, and it was just a great opportunity for me to see how we could all live in peace and not be judgmental of what people were doing, and to live democratically. And I have to mention the younger son, Max Van Peebles. I don't know what Max is doing now. And I don't know but Max and I used to get into these deep debates that would often fall into fist fighting. It's just like anybody who's ever worked in the film industry, we're just like a big circus family. You travel together, you eat 3 meals a day together, and there's always relationships. Inside, outside of marriage, and it's just kind of a way of life, which was I enjoyed it. It probably has gotten me so to have expectations that life can be more than what we experience here now that we've moved to a nice quiet town like Asheville.
So yeah, I'm just gonna. I did, pulled some notes together on Melvin.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things that the page mentioned was a story of a 3-day pass, which was a French film that he did based on a novel he did called La Permission. So, but that's by the time he was in France. But let's rewind a little bit, because after college, he went and joined the Air Force as a navigator for 3 years. After that, he ended up in Mexico as a portrait painter. And then he went to San Francisco, and he started writing short stories and making short films. And he was trying to get into Hollywood, but the only job that was offered to him was as a studio elevator operator. So he said, fuck that. And he went to Holland and started doing graduate courses in astronomy, while also studying at the Dutch National Theater. And by that time, he ended up going to Paris. This dude was all over the place. Then after that, he went to Paris. God. And in Paris, he was like, I'm going to join the French Directors Guild. But they said, wait a minute, you need to adapt all your work to be written in French. And he said, all right, I can do it. And that's when he started with Story of a 3-Day Pass, which again was a novel that was based on a novel that he wrote that he translated to French called La Permission. And it's actually a story about a U.S. soldier and a French woman that have an affair. That's a little bit that I know about it. So after that, he started getting his recognition by the West, by Hollywood. And then he made Watermelon Man after that, and then Sweetback. And I didn't quite get all the things he did, but he was also an options trader on Wall Street. He was on Broadway and made a number of Broadway performances
He's
or
a genius.
What do you call a Broadway? A Broadway show, right?
Yeah. Broadway
So
shows.
Ain't Supposed to Die, A Natural Death is one of them. Don't Play Us Cheap, and Grease Lightning, which actually starred Richard Pryor as the first black race car driver. So those are some of the notes I picked up on Melvin there.
So we got a question, and he heavily impacted the blaxploitation. He was more the conscious black film, and then the white part of Hollywood funded total blaxploitation.
And that's exactly what my research was, and he'd even talked about it. Like from what little I was able to see, there were really no blaxploitation films.
No, there were no black films. I mean, there here and there.
And they would ask him, like, what do you think of the black films? He's like, yeah, well, they have black people in it. Like, that's about it. But as Hollywood recognized that there was a market in black films, they took that idea, but they never actually put any black people in control of it. So you get films with black people in it, but it's not really with the same energy that you know, if someone like Melvin was making it, which was, again, you look at Sweet Sweetback and then compare that to other films, it's not the same.
Well, and not only race, but he dealt with gender issues and telling the true story about sexuality and how people were living their lives. I'm gonna just have to thank him and remember him as an inspiration for what I'm doing now today here at our Zamani Refuge or ZRAC, or I think I'm just getting the spirit to really produce it, do it my way. Let's do it here, and let's break some boundaries. Oh my God, I forgot he had done things in French, and none of us should have boundaries. What are your dreams? Let's just do it, produce it. You know, where are the parts of our team that we can put? Although he did have a really strong family, I have to tell you. The way his family was structured, from the little bit I saw, they were just, you know, they're all there on the set. You know, they're all there helping this whole thing happen. So Posse, I thought it was the beginning of many more black historic, you know, that was about black cowboys in the Black West. And then I worked on Buffalo Soldiers with Danny Glover. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way. But those things, those projects were amazing, and they just seemed to dry up. So I'm going to remember that in my focus of what, you know, what I want to do, what I want to create, all the way from a film and characters to an NFT. But anyway, he's a great inspiration.
So you actually worked with Melvin Van Peebles and Mario, right, as a costumer on the set of the movie Posse.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely want you to talk about that. But we got Egregore in the chat. He's just still he's pushing this question: how do you think his work impacted the modern black identity? And also, how do you think his work impacted other black independent filmmakers? I'll just let you.
Well, for black independent filmmakers, we know Sweet Sweetback just blew it out of the water. But I think probably a lot of modern black filmmakers may never even have heard of him. You know, Melvin and Mario never stopped, you know, going to Cannes Film Festival and promoting projects. But the thing about Hollywood is the more respected you get and the more money you get, the more mainstream your stories tend to be. So I think a lot of his greatest work was done when he's an outsider, or he's pushed to be in Europe or whatever. And I think he's to be discovered now. I'm certainly going to continue talking about him in things that I do, because I realize what a great opportunity it was to be with that man on the set every day, him talking to me, him explaining things to me. And I have great photographs, and it just must have been meant to be. I couldn't find them today, but I have great shots that I have to bring sometime of us on the set of Posse. You know, we built this black town that was a recreation of a historical Western black town. and had interactions with Native Americans, and we worked with Sally Richardson was on that film. It was an interesting. Big Daddy Kane was on Posse. Oh my God, Tone Loc, all these hip hop guys who came out west who couldn't ride horses and were afraid of the dark. You know, it was like it was just wonderful to see the city merge with the country. You know, I don't know what else can I say about it.
Well, so what you know, what are your memories of first meeting them? Was it just kind of like at crew set meetings?
Yeah,
was it pretty much strictly business the whole time?
Oh, strictly business production meeting. The only time like it wasn't it's like after we're done shooting, or everybody knows when you're between setting up sets, you know, people talk and get up to mischief and stuff. And I remember Melvin, and Melvin was quite a matchmaker on the film. And, you know, he hooked me up with this guy who was an editor. I was like, Melvin, you're so wonderful. He's like, yeah, no, you have a lot. He can learn from you, and you can learn from him. He would just put it that way. I don't know. And I remember really strongly I think it must have been Melva's mom was there. And she was this older, kind of scraggly white woman. It was like, yeah, no, that's Mario's mom. And I cannot remember for the love of me why Max and I would get into fights, but we would get in each other's face. I mean, I really liked him. I don't know what it was. Maybe someday Max Van Peebles, are you out there? What the hell? What the hell?
We'll find him and tweet him. Hold on, Max Van Peebles.
Max Van Peebles. What the hell? He was, and they were also attractive, the men. You know, and Mario.
So did you watch Sweetback like when it came out?
Oh yeah.
How did people react to it in your life? I mean, did other people in your life watch it?
Us little Christian people were like, oh no. You know, because I come from people who are country, you know, Texas country. And that was some big city stuff, you know, LA. And even though, let's see, when that film come out? You have the date?
Let me pull it up here real quick.
I was trying to remember, but we were all pretty like, I mean, I had no idea that level of stuff went on, you know.
1971.
71. Okay.
Says it's an American blaxploitation film.
Blaxploitation. No, it started maybe the genre, but it was not blaxploitation. So 71, 72 is that's when I graduated from Columbia. So I was in New York City, I think, at that time. And not only was that happening, Linda Lovelace, Deep Throat. I mean, there was just a revolution in, you could go to movie theaters and see what we call porn movie, you know, erotica in the movies. So, and my high school acquaintance, Pam Grier, you know, making it big with Coffee and, you know, big Afro, this kind of, I mean, the queen of the blaxploitation, her Cleopatra Jones and stuff like that. So it was a great time, you know, and I really thought it was going to continue, but I wasn't consciously aware of the difference between something made by a Black producer and the stuff that Hollywood was pushing out, which was, you know, even along with Shaft, I rewatched. It was so, you know, they were misogynistic.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Like Shaft came out, and what was the other one they pointed out? Because that didn't come out till after Sweetback had been done.
Right, but that was mainstream produced. And, you know, if you look at the John Singleton version of Shaft.
Superfly, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Superfly, right. Superfly, you know, and so that was very different than the Sweetback character. You know, these are drug dealers and stuff. And these were, to me, that's where we kind of went off track following, you know, thinking that that's Black life. That was not Black life for most people.
Well, and just some of the reactions to it. Let me actually pull it up.
Oh,
again.
what's the difference? Because it was character based and it was a man fighting the system. I find the blaxploitation more were
caricature. It's more of a caricature, I feel.
Right. They were glorifying a lifestyle that really was not something that was glorified, at least in my community. You know, maybe if you lived in a big city, you thought pimps and stuff were a big deal. But for anybody who was raised like I was, you know, we're Christian. We're like, we thought they had kind of lost the way. But, you know, we're glad to see Black people on the screen doing anything. But like Melvin did, he went to Europe to actually tell some stories. I mean, that's what we want to do, is just tell our stories. You know, we're not Superfly or Coffee or Cleopatra Jones, you know, superhero telling. I mean, it was like, in one sense, you got to tell the man how you feel, but I think it was just kind of a very narrow aspect of what the Black experience or the Black community is about. And I am still attempting to tell those stories today, but I want to take them forward into an Afrocentric, Afrofuturistic way, put them in games and NFTs, and figure out a way to actually support more positive aspects of Black culture and growth. Thanks for your questions.
Yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
I appreciate it.
So just some more details about actually. So I guess the film wasn't sanctioned by any union, any film union. So actually, he had an armed guard while he was filming because it was dangerous to be making a film outside of a union.
Yeah, he was doing it guerrilla on the street. No permits, nothing.
Which I just thought was like, man, that's pretty intense. And there's also a couple scenes. Another tidbit. There's a couple scenes with Hell's Angels.
Oh,
or there is a scene or whatever with the.
Oh yes, I do remember that.
And so
the party. Yeah.
Well, and again, I was just reading through the Wikipedia, and there's like a plot summary. So I guess he gets captured by the Hell's Angels, or he's in their space, and they're like, well, in order to leave, you have to fight. And so pick your weapon, and so he picks sex, and wins. Is able to get away. But during the filming of that, with that scene with, I guess, his actual Hell's Angels, they, in the middle of the filming, they were like, we want to leave. And he's like, you're going to get paid, you know, until, you're not getting paid until you're done or whatever. But they still wanted to leave, and apparently, so Melvin just snapped his fingers. And then a whole bunch of guys from his crew just showed up with rifles. And it kept the Hell's Angels there. I thought that was pretty interesting. But
yeah, I hadn't heard that story. That's a good one.
But again, just looking through the rest of the article here, they had a little excerpt from Huey P. Newton, who apparently devoted an entire issue of the Black Panther to the film's revolutionary implications.
Word.
Celebrated and welcomed the film as, quote, the first truly revolutionary Black film made, presented to us by a Black man.
Mm-hmm.
Newton wrote that Sweetback presents the need for unity among all members and institutions within the community of victims, contending that this is evidenced by the opening credits, which state the film stars the Black community, a collective protagonist engaged in various acts of community solidarity that aid Sweetback in escaping. Newton further argued that the film demonstrates the importance of unity and love between Black men and women, as demonstrated in the scene where the woman makes love to the young boy, but in fact baptizes him into his true manhood. This, in fact, the rape. This is kind of, you know, that's being characterized as a rape scene. That's actually his son, Mario Van Peebles. So I don't know. That's something that I don't really know how to navigate that kind. Because again, the opening of the film does have a young child having sex with an older woman, and I don't know. I don't really know how to.
Well, looking at it, if you've studied any African cultures, or should I say indigenous cultures, many times the young are initiated by older women, the aunties in the family, etc. And this is not a sexual hookup for mating or exploitation. This is education. So when I talked to one of my babas in Nigeria, he told me, yeah, the aunties, the women in the family would initiate the young children and show them, what their penis was or what their vagina was and what it was for. And so, but we can't mention this in front of Western audiences because they will assume it's the devil and we're going to go to hell. So, we would prefer to just send our children out and have sexual predators initiate them. So, it's a hard decision to make. It's when we're part of a society that's always judging from this puritanical Christian eye that all sex is bad and you got to be pure, and Africans, that's not the way we view the relationship of men and women and families and children. And mostly we don't get an opportunity to talk about it because we are judged that, oh no, that was child abuse. Child abuse takes place when a child is placed in a dysfunctional, toxic conditions. It doesn't take place in a place where you're surrounded by loving family, loving people that are giving you the psychological as well as the physical support for your transitioning into your womanhood, manhood, whatever.
Well, and it's also, I mean, that for Melvin, that was his experience. He was actually writing his experience as a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Going through that situation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it really speaks to like what is art, what is an artist, and where's that line between really trying to show the world your reality through in this particular, it's the film media.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I totally agree with what you're saying and how things kind of get twisted and perverted and changed from.
It's all someone else judging something that they're not part of. They have no really insights into, and so they just bring. We're just like bringing the heavy hammer of Western society. Once go bad, okay, bad. That's bad. That's nasty, dirty. But we will consent to Harvey Weinstein, praying. I mean, when I went to Hollywood, the casting couch is real. The casting couch is real. There's always somebody to get your job, somebody willing to do something that I never was willing to do, and the casting couch is real. They'll tell you.
And so kind of in line with, what you're kind of saying earlier, people looking on the outside looking in, or just people having different interpretations of the stuff. Another reaction to the film from historian Lerone Bennett Jr., who I'm not totally familiar with. But...
Oh, he wrote the book They Came Before Columbus. I mean, he's a big deal. But you have to know about Black people.
So a few months after Huey P. Newton kind of put his praises out, Lerone Bennett Jr. responded with an essay on the film in Ebony.
Wow.
Titled The Emancipation Orgasm, Sweetback in Wonderland, in which he discussed the film's black aesthetic. Bennett argued that the film romanticized the poverty and misery of the ghetto, and that, quote, some men foolishly identify the black aesthetic with empty bellies and big-bottom prostitutes. Bennett concluded that the film is neither revolutionary nor black because it presents the spectator with sterile daydreams and a superhero who is ahistorical, selfishly individualist with no revolutionary program, who acts out of panic and desperation. Bennett described Sweetback's sexual initiation at 10 years old as the rape of a child by a 40-year-old prostitute. Bennett described instances when Sweetback saved himself through the use of his sexual prowess as emancipation orgasms, and stated that, quote, it is necessary to say frankly that nobody ever fucked his way to freedom. And it is mischievous.
Really?
And it is mischievous and reactionary, finally, for anyone to suggest to black people in 1971 that they are going to be able to screw their way across the Red Sea. Fucking will not set you free. If fucking freed, black people would have celebrated the millennium 400 years ago. So I thought that was just another interesting reaction.
And he's a mainstream kind. I mean, they came before Columbus, is not, but he's an academician.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fully in the hierarchical Western cis patriarchy.
Another black nationalist poet and author, Haki R. Madhubuti.
Never heard of him.
Or Don L. Lee.
Don L. Lee I've heard of. Agreed
with Bennett's assessment of the film, stating it was a limited, money-making, autobiographical fantasy of the odyssey of one Melvin Van Peebles through what he considered to be the black community.
So we got another question.
How do you think the hippie movement impacted Melvin's work as a whole?
Well, part of the hippie movement, and I was part of that also, gave us a community where we were experimenting with all these alternative ways of living, with our sexuality, with smoking marijuana, doing LSD, interracial. You know, I think most of his children's mothers were white. You know, like most of my husbands have been white, but we were out there where we had left basically the traditional black community because we're looking for that new world. It's kind of what's happening now digitally. I feel like we've leaped to this modern time where we're exploring gender boundaries and money and cryptocurrency and all these things that we're going to, now we've got the wisdom of our hippie life now, and we've learned how not to be tricked this time. So let's build a truly inclusive society. So I think the hippie movement basically influenced him. Probably his wives were hippie women. And that was the kind of sense when I was around them on the set. They were very tribal, and some of the women were just, and it just really, they were not like ownership. You know, there wasn't this ownership of each other, you know, ownership of people or children. And it was kind of this group sharing of community. And it was very healthy, I think. Definitely an influence back and forth. He was influential in the hippie movement, and the hippie movement is influential as a supporting community for all the work in Black liberation that even goes on today.
Let's go back to Posse a little bit. Keep digging in there, see what else we can get. So, Melvin hooked you up with the editor. You also were just like instrumental in like helping with the costuming and getting that set up. Like, what was the range of kind of what were you were you doing every single costume?
No, let's see. The designer was, God, this white guy. I forget his name. What was his name?
Oh, the costume designer?
Yeah, costume designer.
For Posse?
Oh, God, I forget his name. Is that Sims? Robert Sims? I forget his name. So basically, I worked in the workroom, and because it was only a $2 million movie, that's really low budget. So we had to do many jobs. We did many jobs. Ran the costume trailer. That meant we did shopping, picking, pulling of costumes. We had to set their trailers every morning.
What? It's Kima.
What?
Kima, just stumbled on your live. Awesome chat. Just finished the Dave Chappelle closer. Thank you for talking about
isn't that great?
And commenting on today's social climate. Kima, we love you, man. Thanks for
coming. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, closer was something, right?
I haven't seen that yet. Is that the one he's being...
Yeah, he's being rammed. But I'm like, you go, Dave. Just talk. You know, we're artists. Somebody has to be able to talk freely. And sometimes we say things that upset people, but otherwise we're quiet. And that's kind of like, I feel like living here for so long has quieted me down. So these revolutionary people, whether they're Dave Chappelle or Melvin Van Peebles, we need them.
Kima, I'd be curious, just, you know, if there's anything you wanted to share about what impact Melvin Van Peebles, if any, has had on your work as an artist, as a creator. I know you really put a lot of energy and love into what you do. So yeah, I don't
And
know,
what
just,
his father, Kima's father.
yeah, I just wanted to throw
done.
that to you. But I'm seeing here, just looking at the costume designer, Paul A. Simmons.
Paul Simmons.
Who's worked on a lot. They worked on Black Panther. They worked on The Equalizer.
Yeah, well, and he has a son, Paul
Costume
Simmons.
supervisor on Black Panther. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Paul Simmons Jr., his son, I think is still doing that. Yeah, Paul, I think Blanca must have been on Posse too. Like
Okay.
me and Blanca. Blanca Garcia, my girl. She's just like the workroom solid, you know. She could make anything out of anything. We made sure stuff turned up on the set on time and ahead of time. And we partied hard too. We partied hard. It was good to be. Yeah, Paul Simmons, amazing man. Amazing man. Yeah, I'm sure he's still working.
So yeah, Kima, thanks for coming through. Yeah, Melvin did so much for the body of work within Black cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Just all of the stuff he did in Europe, you know, which was my impulse too at first. You know, go to Europe where you can work freely without so much heavy requirements that, you know, what your subject matter has to be and these limitations on what you can say and do.
This is Kima says his parents were a fan of Melvin's work, and he coincidentally followed his son's work.
Yeah, Mario's still out there rocking and rolling. Mario, I mean, I remember beautifully one scene. It's the scene where all the where it snowed and everybody's on horses and they're going through the movie, but between sets, because the place we went was really remote, we didn't have a trailer. So we all sat in one car to keep warm. So here we are, Melvin and Mario and Big Daddy Kane and Tone Loc. And I don't think Sally Richardson was in that scene. But here I am with all these guys. And I'm like, I'm in paradise. They're just talking about things they've done and things they're going to do. And, you know, just history. It was just like I felt like absorbed power. And to see these rappers, Big Daddy Kane and Tone Loc, really start to understand what the Black West was and what the West is and how to deal with animals and how to be out in the cold. I mean, we were cold.
And so the film's supposed to be set in Cuba, but where was it actually?
No, it starts with that war.
Okay.
And that part, I'm not sure where they filmed that, but we weren't there. I think we helped pull the costumes and they went somewhere and shot that part.
But it was outside of LA?
It was in Arizona.
Arizona.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Didn't we do that? It was in Arizona.
Cool. I see Michael. What's going on from Russia?
Hey, Michael.
Welcome. Egregore has another question. How do you think his work in the films...
Big Daddy Kane and Tone Loc.
How do you think his work in the films like The Shining contrasts with his own private projects? Another question for Egregore. And anybody can answer that if anybody has any responses. But again, I'll take a crack at it. I mean, he's just kind of a cameo in that, really.
In The Shining?
Yeah, I think he's a cameo.
Melvin?
He's like the butler of the...
Melvin is, or Mario?
Melvin. I think it's Melvin.
Oh, I didn't even...
Because there's an old man that shows the young boy, like, oh, you have I forget what you have The Shining. And The Shining means, like, you can connect with the
I guess I have to watch
something.
that again. I don't know.
So he's just kind of a cameo. Like, he's just a small role.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so... But it's can't really compare those, I would think, because it's just such a small role compared to, like...
Yeah.
His own
Yeah,
work.
I don't even remember. And, you know, talking about Big Daddy Kane, I got to spend a lot of time with him because being from the city, he had never met people like me, you know, a Black costumer. And so he would call me into his dressing room and we would talk about things because he was city. And on the weekends, I would just take him, and I had a beat down car. I was like poor. and costumer poor. And so, but he would like take me somewhere, drive me. So I would drive Big Daddy Kane around. We'd go to the malls and stuff, and people were like, "Oh, Big Daddy Kane!" You know, he just wanted to hang out and go somewhere. I even brought him to Phoenix one time. So we spent a lot of time together playing cards. And I was like, I don't really play cards, but that was kind of what we did together. And as a costume, I remember, and he's not the only one because who else? He sent all of his underwear to the dry cleaners. What I found is a lot of people who come from poor backgrounds, when they make it in the movies, just like on on Life. Who was in Life?
Life?
The movie Life.
The movie Life?
Yeah, Big Daddy Kane, he's making a comeback. He's still acting. He's still acting. And since my son's name was Kane, Kane, also, I wanted them to meet. So
the Eddie Murphy movie Life?
Yeah, Life. So Eddie Murphy would only, like, I'm telling stories out of school. You know, these are wardrobe stories. He would only wear his things once, socks, underwear. He would never wear anything that was washed, and I can understand that. But and Martin Lawrence was on that movie too. And yeah, well, on that movie, the biggest fun thing that happened on Life was, what's the Hispanic gay guy that played the role? Oh, what's his name? Michael. I can't remember his name. But anyway, he and the director had a fight on set, a fight where he pulled his wig off, threw it on the floor, cursed him out. And as a costumer, I had to go follow him to his trailer. I'm just like, fun days, fun days. Is his name Miguel? I forget what his name is. Anyway.
See, I got a quote here from, I got to fix that Streamlabs thing because it's blocking links for some, but the link still came through. What is this? What is this business here?
What is business?
Hopefully it doesn't actually block you for putting links down.
And I got to give props to Sally Richardson because the first female lead on this show was supposed to be, what's her name?
Shining Scene.
She's become like a right-wing darling. And because there was a nude scene, I'm like, didn't she get the script? She knew there was a nude scene. So she waited until she showed up on set to say, I'm not doing this nude scene. And Mario demanded that scene. So he recast, and Sally Richardson was cast as the lead kind of Indian half-breed lady. And she was good. She did that nude scene. You know, nude scenes are always, as a costumer, kind of stressful. Because all of a sudden every man who works on the movie has to somehow be in to see it. And I think that's because historically, especially I heard about some of the producers, that they would just shoot these nude scenes for their own personal pleasure.
Right. So
part of our duty was, okay, everybody doesn't need to be here. Get out so they can actually do this scene. You know, this is not a porno set. But yeah, that scene in Posse, if you remember, where they make love, is just really, it's just so beautiful and pure. Yeah, I have such great memories. Great memories.
Let's see, I have a quote here from Melvin. And I like this one. I feel like we kind of relate with this one. You have to not let yourself believe you can't. Do what you can do within the framework of what you have, and don't look outside. Look inside. I think that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
I like that one a lot.
Thank you. That's part of the reason I loved him so much, because he was every day dropping wisdom, encouraging. And it's taken me this long to get to that place. But Melvin, we're gonna rock and roll. Let's do some stuff that opens and lets our creativity flow.
So I just posted a link for the Sweet Sweetback movie. Again, this has a very explicit scene in the first 5-10 minutes, so you are warned henceforth.
It's about fucking.
It is fucking. And you know, you might get put on a list for watching this, but
So
hey,
fucking happens.
that's the price of art, apparently. So,
yeah.
well, cool. He added Van to his name. I wonder why he did that. I don't know.
His name was Peebles?
Yeah, it was just Peebles, but he added Van to it. I wonder if that's just from being in Europe, and
I never heard that.
I wonder if he's trying to be a baron or a
he was a baron.
a duke or something.
He didn't have to try to be nothing. He just was.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty powerful individual, and just the little I've learned about him here, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, looking back, sometimes when you're going through something, you don't realize how monumental it is. So I'm gonna find my photos. I have some great photos of Big Daddy Kane. He played Father Time. He had a big pocket watch and beautiful. He demanded command to be clean. And another one I gotta mention is Tiny. He's passed on. Kane met him. He was a big giant. What's his name? Oh God, I should have looked up all these people's names before. But Tiny. He was an amazing actor too.
Yeah, Tiny actor.
Yeah,
a tiny actor? That's not nice. Tiny actor.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Tommy Lister Jr.
Lister. Tiny Lister. That's what we called him. Tiny Lister.
He passed last year.
He passed
last Christmas or last December.
Yeah, Kane remembered meeting him. I mean, he was just a big, kind person. And so he always got these roles where he played like, how big guys get these roles, like, they're a big dumb guy. But he was so dedicated to community, Tiny was, and what Black people were doing. I just have to remember these guys. What a sweet person he was. I don't know. I mean, when you think about how difficult it is to continuously work in Hollywood, and it's a system built on stereotypes, we understand that, and tropes. But looking for better and better tropes for people to follow. Anyway, Tiny Lister.
Tiny Lister.
Another giant. He was a giant man. Big man, sweet man. Who else was on Posse? I should have looked at the cast list because I know
Let me pull it up real quick. Posse cast.
There's other people that were wonderful.
Mario Van Peebles.
Mario.
Stephen Baldwin.
Oh, God. What did I forget? Stephen Baldwin. That's one of the Baldwin brothers. He's the little one. The rest of the Baldwins.
Yeah.
And he was one of them crazy little white boys.
Yeah.
He used to come to the wardrobe room and dance with me. We would dance together. Stephen Baldwin. Yeah.
Billy Zane.
Oh, another. Oh. Well, I don't want to tell too much about people that ain't exactly cis. I love Billy Zane.
Melvin Van Peebles, Tiny Lister, Big Daddy Kane. Reginald Vell Johnson.
Oh, Reginald Vell Johnson. Very popular Black actor. Yeah.
Blair Underwood.
Oh, my God! Oh, sorry. No, that back in that time, that's the reaction like when I told my sister. So Jan and Kane came to the set the day Blair was there. Because Jan wanted to meet Blair Underwood. Because he's still working. He looks the same. So he's just handsome, Black, leading man type. We didn't have too many of those. But yeah, Blair Underwood. Who else?
Isaac Hayes.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. I Was in Paradise. Isaac Hayes.
Charles Lane.
Charles Lane.
No picture for this.
He's
one.
another not only is he an actor, this man is a writer and a producer, Charles Lane.
Nice. Actor and filmmaker, yet. Robert Hooks, actor, producer, and activist.
Oh, Robert Hooks. Okay. Very well-known black actor.
Richard Jordan.
Richard Jordan, I remember him.
Pam Grier.
Oh, I forgot Pam. Oh.
You went to high school with Pam Grier, right? Or no, you were in the beauty pageant. Because you had a little book where she was in the back of
Oh, my God! Yeah, our moms were both nurses.
Okay.
Pam Grier's mom and mom and my mom were nurses. So the Griers would come over to our house every once in a while. But yeah, Pam was in this. And she was in the barroom scene. And it was just so much fun. And so that must mean Beverly Pryor. Was Beverly Pryor on this? She's another Denver girl. We're all from the same high school, same town. Pam, Beverly Pryor, and she was in hair and makeup. So a lot of times she and I would show up on the same movie sets together. And we worked on another film with Pam. What was that? Anyway, they flew me in and Pam and Beverly, and we were in some hotel in Hollywood. And I'm the costumer, so I have to find something to structure Pam's boobs. You know, 'cause she'd like, she had some boobs. So we went to, I mean, in Hollywood, you can have anything specially made. So we went to a brassiere maker, basically, to have a bra custom made for Pam. And I just remember in that room, and Pam was the first one I had ever seen on one of these earphone telephones back then. Because we're fitting her and measuring her, and she's talking. I'm like, who is she talking to? And she bought us a bottle of poulet foussé. I will never forget that. And we drank wine and did our fitting. We were like, I mean, there's so many wonderful memories I have of being in Hollywood.
Egregore says Michael Colombier worked on Purple Rain.
Michael, let's see if Michael Colombier. Do I remember him?
I don't see the name. Let me see. Was he in Posse?
Was he a tech guy? Or is he an actor?
The name's familiar.
Yeah, the name's familiar. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for mentioning.
He wrote the music.
Oh.
Egregore says.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, a lot of times the music happens after. Yeah. After you film. So that he wasn't a person we would have. The Neville brothers!
And
oh my God! Oh, the scene where they're going through Indian territory. We got to do the Indians, and then the Neville brothers sing a song. Yeah, I got some good pictures with me and the Neville brothers. What wonderful people they were. It was like, oh, the Neville brothers. Yeah.
Another person in there was Nipsey Russell.
Nipsey Russell. He was in this scene where I can't remember what the scene was. Oh, maybe it was when the Cowboys were coming into town, and he was looking out. He was a barber, I think, and he was like, "Can we all just get along?" They had these like silly throwback lines to the Rodney King. Yeah, the Rodney King. Can we all just get along?
Paul Bartel. What about Snopes over there, Egregore? I have no clue what's going on with Snopes. Paul Bartel, Sally Richardson. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, Sally. She's wonderful. Yeah.
That they were she was the replacement for
Dash. Stacey Dash.
Stacey Dash.
That biatch. Nobody liked her. We were so glad she left. And true to today, she's just like the. That was who Nipsey played. Snopes.
Okay.
Yeah. I just remember, can we all just get along?
I thought you were talking about myth busting or something.
And
Snopes.
we built, we built, I have to give props to all the wranglers We had us some cowboy wranglers that were just horse wranglers, and all the tech guys, the lighting guys, like they built a whole bar, and at the end of the show it had to burn. And so it was had all these gas pipes pipe through it.
Wow.
And
wow, that's amazing.
I had to do a shirt that was fireproof, that had to be on fire but not, burn up the, I think that was what's his face? Billy Zane at the end, when he dies. I was like, so we had to dip these shirts into water fireproofing, and then we had to have enough of them. Anybody who works sets know you don't have just one costume, you have to have duplicates, because a lot of times you're shooting things over and over. Snopes.
Woody Strode.
Oh, please. Oh, a god. Woody Strode,
American athlete and actor,
was one of
he passed in '94, so
and he
passed
was
right after the movie came out.
He was one of the first black cowboys before all of this stuff happened. I forget when. Woody Strode was an ex-football player he was so handsome. He was like a god. A god. So handsome. Yeah, Woody Strode. And some of the producers on this were, I forget the two twin brothers that now are doing a lot of production.
Let's see. Posse producers.
Yeah, because they kind of were doing a lot of the behind the scenes planning and stuff. So I didn't see them a lot, but I did get to meet them. Woody Strode. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Another. Okay. Aaron Neville. Reginald, that's the musician. Reginald Hudlin.
Reginald Hudlin. Those are the Hudlin brothers. They're twins.
Okay.
So they were
Warrington Hudlin. Okay.
Yeah, they were they were the producers, and they're still producing to this day, They're still producing to this day, but like I say, when you get accepted by the machine, then the machine's money tells you what you need to do. So it's really great to work as an outsider and to have worked with these people doing, just like Danny Glover doing Buffalo Soldiers, basically outside the mainstream. I think that debuted on television. Anyway, it's out there. I got a credit on it. Little did I know that when I got into mainstream Hollywood, they were like, oh no, you can't do women and men's costume. You have to choose. So I became a men's costume, men's tailor, because working on Buffalo Soldiers, I made uniforms. But in Hollywood, most of the tailors are men, and most of the tailors were Spanish speaking or Korean speaking, and racist and sexist as all get out. So after being the first female tailor for several years, I just was like, you know what? Oh, I remember. It was working on We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. And
what was that?
Mel Gibson. Sam Elliott was the yum on that one. I just fell in love with him. But anyway, I digress. The tailors, I was the head of the tailors department when we were in Camp Benning, Georgia. But then when we moved the whole production to Northern California, then this Hispanic Madrona itch came on. And I was like, you know what? You all gonna be like I looked after you. I made sure we had a shot of tequila at the end of every work night, and looked after it, because a lot of them didn't even speak English. But when the Hispanic lady came, they were like, well, we have to go with her. I'm like, you know what? Y'all can take this show, because I speak English, and I'm gonna go somewhere else and do something else. So to this day, I think one of the greatest lessons I learned is just produce what you want for yourself and your people. Just do it, Valeria. I'm talking to you, Valeria.
Oh, man,
I'm talking to you, Pirate Queen Endigo Kat.
Pirate Queen. That's right. I'm One Frog 9. This is Pirate Queen.
Pirate
We're here.
Queen.
Thank you guys for coming through. We're not totally done yet, but we might be winding it down. We did a good hour.
Yeah, Yeah, I
We did
mean,
a good hour. Just want to let you guys know.
Melvin Van Peebles, the bomb.
We are live Thursdays at 11 a.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Sundays in the evening. Don't play us cheap. What are you talking about? But yeah, today we were just spent the past hour reminiscing about Melvin Van Peebles, a little bit of his work. Also, listening to Valeria, aka Pirate Queen Endigo Kat, share with us her experiences working with him and working on the Posse movie called Posse, which is made by his son Mario Van Peebles. Mm-hmm. And Egregore says I'm playing y'all cheap.
Look us up. I mean, look these movies up. I mean, you'll be thrilled to see Posse, Buffalo Soldiers, a lot of these. I don't know. I worked on so many films where the great thing is, like, it was a job that was really hard, but you loved it, and we got to party every night. We would party every night, whether we were in hotels or wherever we were staying in. Shout out to Blanca Garcia, the best costume wardrobe person on the planet. Someday, Blanca, you and all your cowboy boots. She has a collection of wardrobe that she's got trailers.
Yeah, we gotta send this to Blanca.
Yeah,
we'll get it on Facebook or whatever.
Trailers full of stuff, cowboy boots. She could, if you're working on a movie, this woman's got all the. I mean, that's one reason I stopped doing film costuming, because it was getting to that. The costumer's kit actually needed to be a whole bunch of costumes, because that would save the production money. But I mean, I think I could still do aging on costumes and stuff like that. So I'm looking on how I could come back and do things maybe for the business that's in Atlanta and do aging or whatever on my terms. Anyway, we're working on it here on our 7 acres.
So he's saying "Don't Play Us Cheap" is a yeah. So I did mention that one. Yeah, it's one of the Broadway plays Melvin made. It starred Esther Roll.
Esther Roll. I'll have to see that. I didn't see that.
There's definitely a lot of Melvin's work that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get into some research on that.
Yeah, I want to see some of the stuff he did in Europe, because can you imagine? You're gonna have to.
I think that's cool as fuck, man.
I'm complaining about my scripts, getting them finished, and he had to take his script and translate it into French.
Yeah, and he spoke Dutch too.
Yeah.
Can't we all just get along?
Yes. Can we all just get along? I was just like, okay.
So, but yeah, we're here out in Leicester, trying to get this
North
space.
Clackalacky.
Trying to get this space ready so that we can invite some other artists, some other creators, some audience to come, and you're trying to set up actually a gallery in the basement, trying to get that nice and set up. And a store.
Some places where we can have some Buto performances.
We are busy little bees over here. But I don't know, is there anything else that we want to share or cover? I'll plug our little merch thing again.
Yeah.
If you're here either in the live or watching after the fact on Twitch or YouTube, and you can check this out. We got a Redbubble page. It'll pop up here in a second, I hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're working on making some merch on that front.
And I'm even working on seeing if I can get a little roadside produce stand on the downside of our little acreage here. Yeah. The Leicester Farmers Market is every Wednesday, and I was supporting and helping them do that. And then I realized I could hear the voice of Shola Atanda, my Oluo, saying, "Valeria, why don't you do your own?" I'm like, Baba, I just, finally, I get it. I can do my own. We can do our own. We have 7 acres. We've got equipment. It's just got to put in the elbow grease. So anybody that wants to come out and work or meditate or
do some forest bathing,
walking barefoot, trim my goat's hooves, any of that you want to do. And we had the pumpkin, Mama AZ. I wanted to mention her. Met her through Mothers for the Earth, Trends, and all of those people. So Pam Greer. Yeah, I mean, I think Kima, one of the reasons I left is because, you're depending on someone else to promote your stuff. So I'm still working on getting my scripts together and figuring out, even if I can't produce them physically, we maybe through animation, putting my characters together for perhaps an NFT project that can be successful and bring in the money to fund some of our films, some of our ideas, put it together. So I went to real estate school to learn some stuff I needed to learn, and what I learned is I'm not interested in selling a bunch of houses. I'm interested in Afrocentric, actually, development, community development, whether it's here or in Texas. And I've got this 7 acres. We've got space to do it. And finally, my head's in the right place. I'm throwing everything out of my workspaces, doing inventory, and I've got a lot of fabric, sewing machines, hats from Mama AZ. So it's time for me to start putting things in place and seeing if some people want to come up and sew. I don't know, maybe I'll do classes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the stereotypes. Yeah. It's like the mainstream only wants to support something that's not going to elevate people. That's kind of a reason why we're out here doing what we do, writing different stories with different characters, not with these stereotype gender roles. Thanks, Kima. It's so good to hear from you. What are you up to? I know you're making music somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, I'm working on this place actually so we can have a stage here. It may take me a year or two because I'm starting from the basics of throwing all my stuff out of. I have clothes and inventory up the yin yang. So figuring out a way to sell some, but use the others and have a place that artists can come here and work. Kind of what Julie was doing. What Julie was doing at her place, but I want to have control over who's a part of it. Yeah, because what I found being out in this, even helping with the people across the farmers market, there's always some loose cannons that come at you with racist stuff. And I'm like, well, you know what? Y'all stay over there in y'all world, and I'll just let us make this world where we have the people we want in it, where we're not daily facing microaggressions and stuff. So that's what we've come to. And we'd love to see you, Kima. Once we get a place, we want to invite people out for lunch. I'd like to work with Be Love and Hood Huggers and see if we can arrange tours out here. You can be picked up in town through Hood Huggers and then come up here. And my little place. Ah.
Nice.
Good. So you're still editing and doing stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Good to hear from you. So glad you tuned in, Kima.
Yeah, Kima, you've always been an inspiration to me, man.
Yeah.
Excuse me there. Yeah, I always appreciated just how you tackle your art and tackle your music. You're just, man.
Well, and I think those
walking around with your microphone and
right,
picking up stuff or sitting up there with Julie and talking about cock docking, like. man, that shit was like we were.
Did we record that? That was hilarious.
I don't know, dude.
That was hilarious. Well, and Kima and his partner did the music for what the
I think I don't know if you were there for that one, Kima, but like there was one time somebody pulled it up, so it came up on, it was like there on the computer
on YouTube, right?
On Pornhub, probably. Oh. and then Ella walked in, and there's just all of us sitting there watching this, and Ella came in, and Julie just grabbed her like, look at what we're looking at, like.
Yeah, and we all just kind of were singing cock ducking.
Yeah, man, and actually on your YouTube now, like, there's a video of you like impersonating an Indian man, like making fun of Chandra or something. Like, you're there with like a sheet over your head.
Oh, Chandra, yeah, all of our friends. Oh my goodness! So we'll make a place where all our friends can come.
The
and
docking
be
videos.
themselves. The talking videos.
I don't know if those are allowed to be on YouTube. Unless you had some other custom stuff made, but yeah, man, I miss those. Were really, this is really the first couple of years after we met, and we just spent.
Yeah, well, Kima was there to actually
weekend.
Witness some things that probably no one need to see.
I mean, just like the first couple of years we were together, we were almost at Julie's like every month or every almost every other week.
Yeah.
For a while, we were staying at her place, and those were some wonderful, amazing times. I mean,
where we hardly wore clothes.
Yeah, we were hardly wearing any clothes, and there's just artists everywhere.
Yeah.
And
arting around.
And to clarify, you and me were the only ones that weren't wearing any clothes. I remember,
okay.
There was that one party. I think there was a one party where like I think Zazie was there, and all her friends from Warren Wilson were there. There was like 20 people there, and me and you were just like, let's take off our clothes. And we were like outside.
We announced it to everybody. Come on, let's take our clothes off.
No,
right?
we didn't. We took our clothes off and walked into the living room. And Zazie didn't have her top on, but she like her hair was long and she was playing a guitar and whatever, and everybody was like enjoying that. But as soon as you and me came in, like half the room left. It was really funny. Super fun. We really try to stir some shit.
We were just having a great creative time. Well, I want to talk about before I met you, Nice Nasty.
Yeah.
Kima and your partner, they did the music for our procession. And it was
Ghost of the South?
Ghost of the South. That was another legendary, monumental presentation where at the end of it, people just walked out like they couldn't talk, really. And that was me and Julie playing that. Julie Beckton Gillum.
Yeah, maybe we should put
Miss
that.
Buto.
Maybe we should run that on the stream one day. What do you think?
No, I think I want to run that here and people
do
pay.
Some
if people pay to come see it and have some Buto performance with it. Yeah, those were legendary. We were legendary. We were just, and we just been in hibernation, little COVID-induced break to reevaluate, and we're ready to step back out there, just getting this home space stable and dry, and where we can have guests. And I've been working on a lot of vegan recipes, so I'm excited about that. Kind of changed my diet, our diet. Stefan. Yes, Stefan. Oh, he was so wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, all of you that did those things. I mean, at the time, we probably didn't realize how legendary we were. But let's continue to just create the legends that we are. Remembering Melvin Van Peebles, who just lived large, that his creativity affected so many people. The way he raised his family. I mean, he was like, there's a few black men that I've met that have just been not only amazing men and artists, but they've been fathers. Like George Bellinger, another just liberal. His mind was free. His wives, his children were just raised in an environment where they could be nude. They learned to love their bodies. They weren't ashamed. And I'm fortunate to have been around such people. Oh, Stefan. Oh, yeah, the throat singing. Yeah. Reiner worked hard to make an 18-minute video of that procession. We had 6 camera people working on that, and it was really amazing. And Pink Dog and Randy and Hetty of Pink Dog Creative. Yes, Melvin, he just showed me, and it's like, Melvin, I haven't even got to do what the stuff that you did. But like I said, I have scripts, and I'm getting closer to actually at least either producing pieces, but working on getting all the costumes and things together. So when people come over, I'm just like, okay, costumes are here, props are here, cameras are here. What are we going to do all together to change the world for the better, just to blow us out of this cis hetero patriarchal system of limiting others and ourselves.
That's what we're here. That's what we're here to do. That's why we're making the One Frog 9 channel. And, it's just, this is just my, it's like I see streaming as just a blank canvas to put whatever I'm putting there. So this is our art. This is our performance art.
It allows us to talk to our friends.
And we get to hang out with you guys in this COVID era.
I love it.
It's pretty good. Let's see. Spike Lee cites him as one of his role models. She's Gotta Have It could not be without
Melvin. She's Gotta
Melvin.
Have It, yeah. No.
And I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah.
I'm an uncultured swine, guys.
Well, and look at Spike's work, so Spike was really revolutionary, but more as he got paid and he's doing directing and stuff, he goes in general in supporting the mainstream kind of cis hetero line.
Yeah.
So I think us on the outside here, but more people are on the outside and producing. Yeah, his recent work. Because he's just become another director, he's not, even if you look at, what's his name? Oh, God. Tarantino starts out, making a big roar, but the more money he gets, kind of like, okay, he's just working within that system, working within this, but it's a system that is made of stereotypes and tropes. That's part of his costumer. Why I'm a good costumer is because I'm a good observer of people. What does a person look like that works at a grocery store? What does a person look like that works at a bar? What does a minister look like? So we study, we look at people. We look at the archetypes and tropes they present. And we create them for the public. So, but realizing we have this power, we can change these tropes into tropes that are self-affirming, self-supporting, self-healing, and returning the money to our hands and our coffers to support our... that's what I see the future of my work as an artist in NFTs.
Speaking of NFTs, definitely check us out on Saturday. Like I said, we're live at 11 a.m. If you're curious about cryptocurrency, NFTs, blockchain type stuff, we're going to be talking about DeFi, decentralized finance, and looking into how that stuff works, because that's certainly been a focus of mine lately, because there's a lot to
tokens.
this. It's pretty controversial for a lot of people, and I've just made the choice to just dive in head first so that I have an understanding of how this technology functions and how people are going to implement it and how it's going to affect just people and society in general. I think
we implement it. So the great thing I see about this whole avenue is that we're on the ground floor building the structure on top of Ethereum or on top of whatever, Binance. We're at the ground floor building. So let's build that egalitarian structure. A lot of people who benefited from the current fungible fiat
system. Fungible fiat is fungible.
Yeah. That have benefited from that because they have a lot of money. They think they can just jump right over in this new space. And yeah, they can. But that's like almost anything that happens new. There's a whole bunch of, I didn't want to use the word shysters because I don't want somebody to think I'm being racist. but really they function as shysters. They get in and they're selling. They're out there. Come on, when you get your your NFT right
We
here.
can just call them scammers.
Scammers. There's a lot of scammers out there.
Sorry about that, but yeah. So a lot
But
to learn
anyway,
on
that's why we're looking
that.
into it.
And Kima says, I think talking about. Actually, Kima, I'm not sure what that. He says, I agree. Using the European and also West African aesthetic to filmmaking, with long shots, deep and long, with narratives that don't follow the typical Greek tragedy structures. For sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so much to still explore because, in a way, I felt when I was trying to be in local galleries and stuff, or national galleries, trying to get into New York, I'm like, why am I asking them to be in what they're doing when I don't really completely agree with what they're doing? So let's just build it here. See what happens. See what happens. And I hadn't felt that. I went to real estate school and I have a different understanding of my value as a person. And I guess I never really was that interested in making money before. And now I understand how to do it, but not give up my soul to do it. Not change my story to do it. Yeah. I mean, the whole Hollywood, it's Genesis. I just saw
a documentary talking about how the
documentary.
Jewish community.
Yeah, how it came out of them being oppressed.
They come out of Europe.
In their oppression.
And they get into the Hollywood industry and change their names.
And then, they try to become
and they just start basically
as white as possible. Let me just put it that way.
So they start painting what is the American dream. And putting that in the film.
Making these horrible fantasies of, always the heroine is this beautiful, blonde, weak woman. So, yeah, okay, that's what they did, and they have their right to project their fantasies, but let's project some of our fantasies. What would my fantasies look like? And I have to do it so I can share it with somebody. I can't keep it inside. I've been keeping a lot inside. I've done a lot, but there's so much more to come, Kima, and anybody who's tuning in, and especially our artist friends. I feel like I've been in 2 years of deep, deep, meditative, self-affirming, ascending mode where I realize I'm connected, I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's all perfect. And it's all going to be on time and ahead of time because we're working in the present moment. We're working outside of the limitations of time and sin and disease and death and all those things that they've thrown out. See if it could make us stumble, but we are immortal. And we're going to do art to express that immortality.
Well, cool, guys. I'm going to call it. As much as wonderful as we are and all the love and energy that we can put in this, I'm just going to, we're going to move on with the rest of our day and let you guys move on with the rest of your day. We appreciate y'all coming through. Kima, Michael, Egregore, anybody else that's either here after the fact or either here live or whatever.
I'm trying to do the West Side symbol.
Y'all are loved. She's trying to do the West Side symbol.
West Side!
She did it. And that's just what's going on. And I'm going to pull us over here real quick because I want you guys to, get in the ocean.
Bye.
Get in the ocean with us because, is it going? No, it's not going. I got to go over here.
It's not going. Take command and command it. Love, wisdom, power.
I need you all to be an abolitionist. We need all abolitionists to rise up, stand up, come and be seen. Egregore, I will be seeing you here in a bit, man. We'll jump in Discord, hang out, do something. But before we do that, Egregore, I need you to really help me shoot down the system of prison industrial slave complex, man. By, grabbing your phone.
Boom, boom, boom.
Nope. That's fine. Grab your phone and text in the exception to 52886. And that right there will set you on a petition on a petition like sequence there. It's really super fast. He already did it. Excellent, man. That's great to hear. And as always, folks, if you're not really into the petition side of organizing, you can check out these organizations here. Abolition Today, they're live every Sunday at 7 on Blog Talk Radio. These guys are abolitionist historians. They're even the reason why I do what I'm doing when I incorporate the abolitionist thing, because I've been inspired by those guys and the work that they do. And I just want to give them a boost and include them in anything I'm trying to do. There's also Jailhouse Lawyers Speak. These are incarcerated, imprisoned human rights activists who are organizing on the inside. They're organizing strikes and just trying to let us know on the outside what they're going through. And Amend the 13th, they even really get into it as far as the community organizing with food security, neighborhood security, youth programs for math and science for children. They're just trying to really become an autonomous, to lay the foundation for like autonomous community. I think that's really important. But yeah, that's all the show for today. Like I said, we talked about Melvin Van Peebles. We talked about Pirate Queen Endigo Kat's work, her time working on Posse as a costumer, and some of the people she worked with. And yeah, guys, I really love you all, and I appreciate you all. We'll be back Saturday and Sunday, and next Thursday as well. So check us out. Find me on Twitter. Find us on Redbubble. Find us all over the place. We're gonna keep creating, keep being artists, and we shall see you guys super soon. And that's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna go ahead and oh yeah, like I said, Saturday we're gonna be up. We're gonna be talking about blockchain and DeFi. Egregore, if you want to come in, be on Discord and hang out with that. I got my friend David, Mr. Chrome. He'll be I don't know if he's here right now, but he's really deep in the crypto and blockchain universe, doing working with a lot of different projects and stuff. So he'll be joining us, and we'll be talking about decentralized finance and what that is, liquidity pools, all that kind of business. I think Saturday is going to be like our blockchain talk type stuff. So, but yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what's happening. With that, we're going to switch on over to this, and I will see you guys soon.